very good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. And we begin Nationwide today with the latest from the Supreme Court. And joining me in the studio now is our judicial correspondent who was in the court earlier, Vera Chinwuba, on the review of the Bielsa governorship election. And welcome, Vera. And
thank you, Ifoma.
How was the mood at the Supreme Court today?
The mood was very calm. You know, the Supreme Court, when it's hearing these high-profile cases, restricts people who have no business coming to court from coming to disturb the peace of the court. But the most important thing is that the people that came to court were the people who have issues with the court. For instance, the APC chairman, Adam Soshimolo, was there. The former governor-elect of Bielsa State was also there. And then a number of high-profile counsel. You don't see them very often in court. They were all there today.
Okay.
And,
So what was it? What was the latest on the review of the Bielsa governorship election?
Basically, the APC team was asking the court to reverse that judgment, to set it aside. Okay. Actually, on the grounds that the candidate was on the ground that the court had no jurisdiction, and that it denied the APC candidate fair hearing, after the lower court, that is the Federal High Court, has affirmed that decision, which the Supreme Court also affirmed, and then later nullified the election. Based on that, the other party was also, the APC team was also saying that the application on its own lacks merit, that is frivolous, that they cannot, cited the latest decision of the Supreme Court, which specify the circumstances, 10 circumstances in the case of Stanbic IPTD versus LGC, 10 circumstances under which the court can actually rehear its application. When the court went through all these applications, all the circumstances is reeled out, and he found that the application did not fall within those specifications. And the judgment, which was read by Justice Amina Angui, for the first time, she was extremely very furious reading the judgment. You could see her countenance, that with a tone of finality, she said the Supreme Court is a final court. The Supreme Court is not given to sitting on its own appeal, and the Supreme Court, under the Constitution, Section 225 of the Constitution, which gives it the tone of finality, the Supreme Court cannot rehear application which is as settled. And when you look at it, it's also said that when you allow this situation to continue, it's going to open a floodgate of people coming to ask the Supreme Court to revisit its decisions, and the very senior lawyers who were all in court, she said that the senior lawyers should know, and they should not come with frivolous applications that are vexatious, applications that do not have merit. In fact, when she was saying it, she handed down 30 million naira cost she awarded, and said that the appellants should pay 30 million naira, each of them 10 million naira for daring the court and asking the court to go in after they had sat down to look at the merits and the merits of the case. It's like you're bugging the Supreme Court with issues that she has carefully dealt with. It was a 7-man panel led by Justice Sylvester Anguta, that looked at what the arguments from both courts. And the Supreme Court is like saying, please, senior counsels, they should know better. They shouldn't come to court with this kind of application that seems to even question the integrity of the court, because the applications, the way they detail the application one after the other, the court finds it very, very, very disheartening and disturbing for senior counsel who should know when the Supreme Court should review and when it should not, to come and block them with this kind of application.
Thank you very much, Vera. That will be all. Thank you for these updates.
I thank you so much.
And now to the presidency. A meeting of the Federal Executive Council, the highest policy decision-making organ of the Nigerian government, is ongoing at the presidential villa. The meeting is being presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo is now standing by to give us an update. Adamu, what can you tell us about the meeting?
Thank you, Studio. I would like to begin by letting you know that the Federal Executive Council meeting, now ongoing, is the 5th in the series for the year 2020. It started at exactly 11 o'clock in the morning after the presidential inauguration of the newly appointed chairman and commissioners of the National Assembly Service Commission. Apart from President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Oshimajo is also attending the meeting. So also the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, the National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungunu, and other cabinet ministers. No one can say for certain what the council members will be discussing in there behind closed doors, as they don't normally disclose their agenda. One thing is, however, certain. Various memoranda from ministries, departments, and agencies are to be submitted for consideration and possible approval by the council. This is a prerequisite for accessing and utilization of monies allocated to such ministries, departments, and agencies in the Appropriation Act. In the meantime, as you might be aware, ministers have started giving account of their stewardship in the first 100 days of the next level administration. No fewer than 7 ministers have so far taken their turns defending their actions or inactions regarding the execution of their various mandate areas in line with the next level agenda. The last minister to do so was that of Power, Salim Mamman, who announced the submission of a new proposal aimed at stabilizing the nation's power sector for socio-economic development. More ministers are expected to do so this week and in subsequent meetings. We'll keep you posted as soon as resolutions and other decisions of the council are made public. Back to you in the studio.
Many thanks, Adamu. The newly appointed chairman and commissioners of the National Assembly Service Commission have been inaugurated. The inauguration ceremony, which preceded the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council, was performed by President Muhammadu Buhari. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
I will do right to all manner of people according to law.
Ahmed Kadi Amshi, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers from Yobe State, is the chairman of the commission established in line with the provisions of Section 3, Subsection 4 of the National Assembly Service Act 2014. Born in 1954, Ahmed Amshi is a first-class bachelor's degree holder in mechanical engineering and master's in public administration from the University of Maiduguri. He served as permanent secretary in the Yobe State Civil Service, executive secretary, Nigerian Society of Engineers, and was also the chief of staff to the then Senate leader between 2017 and 2019. Those sworn in as members of the commission were Babagana Modu, Borno, Senator Abubakar Tutare, Taraba, Hakim Olabode Akamu, Lagos, Motunrayu, Akintomide, Ondo, Francis Atano Meyowi, Delta, and Basi Olusegun Etuk, Akwa Ibom State. Others are Yusuf Bilyaminu Shinkafi, Zamfara State, Sani Said, Kazaure, Jigawa State, Senator Julius Ali Ucha, Ebonyi, Awalu Aliyu Ohindase, Kogi, and Muazu Ishaq, Nasarawa. There was no presidential address at the ceremony, but the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, expressed confidence in the ability of the newly appointed members of the National Assembly Service Commission to live up to expectations.
You will agree with me that we have a very high quality, high caliber of people on this commission, and therefore we expect that the commission will be very effective and efficient, and the time is of essence. Members of the National Assembly need the kind of staff and aids that will enhance our activities and our performance.
The business starts today, and I believe they will operate optimally in the interest of the National Assembly, in the interest of the country, most importantly. So we're looking forward to a robust National Assembly Service Commission.
The chairman of the commission, Ahmed Amshi, and other members were full of gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for the confidence reposed in them and promised not to disappoint.
We are really ready to put in our best with our past experiences to see how we'll move the nation forward in this line of assignment that we are put into. We have already set our agenda to make sure that we have a high capacity National Assembly staff that will work with the legislators to make their work easy, simple, and they give us a good legislation to the nation.
And according to the oath we took today, we'll stick by that and make sure that the Commission and the staff are really proud of our administration.
We are going to work as a team and achieve the desired result. The rule of law will prevail.
With 2 members drawn from each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, the National Assembly Service Commission leadership is to run a 5-year renewable tenure. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
We now shift our attention to security matters. There is an adage that says when birds learn to fly without perching, hunters need to shoot without missing. Now, how does this apply to the ongoing drive by the federal government to combat internal security threats? Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at an event organized to proffer solutions to the nation's security challenges, where President Muhammadu Buhari was represented, seeks answers to these questions.
Insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta regions are some of the emerging internal security challenges that have killed, displaced thousands of people, and property worth billions destroyed. The federal government has strengthened the nation's security architecture with introduction of different platforms and deployed new strategies to curb the vice that is stemming development in parts of the country. This National Security Seminar, organized by the Alumni Association of the National Defense College Abuja, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor and the National Defense College, is aimed at providing research-based solutions to present security threats.
It will amount to misconception to assume that the armed forces alone can effectively deal with all aspects of insecurity in the country without giving serious attention to the root cause.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message at the event, notes that the federal government has developed a high-level partnership with the international community to effectively address insurgency, cross-border crime, and other challenges.
Smuggling of economic goods, weapons, and trafficking in drugs and persons have reached such an unacceptable levels that the government have to consider temporary close of our land borders with a view to taking closer look at how to address such challenges.
The seminar, the 10th in the series, is with the theme Combating Insecurity in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
World leaders in Geneva, Switzerland are voicing hope for the international community to support mandate and operations of the United Nations in its quest to strengthen institutions in upholding the human rights of all. At the 43rd high-level session of the United Nations Human Rights Council currently holding, the representatives of various countries, including Nigeria, give account of their commitment to human rights protection. Usman Aliyu reports from Geneva.
Amidst deepening concern on human rights issues at this time when some parts of the world are affected by war and conflicts, all leaders at this United Nations office in Geneva condemned abuses on human rights, more especially violence against women and girls, rights of religion and beliefs. Most speakers from different parts of the world unanimously called for an action stopping human rights violation once and for all. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister, Jeffrey Onyama, stated that though the country is fighting terrorism, her commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights remain within guidelines of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Nigeria has created a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development. This is to enable us to respond adequately and expeditiously to humanitarian emergencies in the country. Nigeria recognizes the importance of adherence to international human rights obligations. With the establishment of a human rights desk at the headquarters and formations of the armed forces and the inauguration of the Department of Civil-Military Relations, our military and security agencies are continually sensitized on the imperative of respect for human rights while countering terrorism.
Nigeria also used the forum to tell the world that false information going around, particularly in the social media, denting image of Nigerian army is the work of mischief makers.
I think it was important that we were here to make this presentation because now in the social media there are a lot of images and videos of ostensibly Nigerian troops torturing prisoners and so forth, and a number of countries have reached out to us as a government to express their concern. And, you know, we've been very keen to tell them that the government policy is very clear.
14 member states were elected into the Human Rights Council at the 74th General Assembly of the United Nations. In Geneva, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has resolved to conduct an investigation on alleged excess charges by banks on individual and corporate accounts. The House noted that despite intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria to stop such excess charges by way of regulation, the practice remains, thus eroding customers' confidence. The House Committee on Banking will liaise with relevant agencies to carry out the investigation. The lawmakers also urged the federal government to ensure rapid response towards curbing the spread of Lassa fever and other communicable diseases. Wednesday, plenary passed a bill to establish Chartered Institutes of Public Administration, while a bill to establish Federal College of Education, Ikirun, Osun State passed through second reading. And now to religious matters. The Lenten period when Christian faithful engage in intense fasting and prayers have commenced, with clergy appealing for peace in Nigeria. Ngozi Technical reports.
This is not the usual Sunday worship of the Christian faithful. These faithful are worshipping to commence the Lenten period on what is called Ash Wednesday. It is an ancient tradition of the Orthodox churches to remind Christians of the penitence and suffering of Jesus Christ. In the NTA Chapel of Resurrection, members of the Christian faithful were admonished to use the period to fast, devote more time to pray for oneself and the nation.
When you fast, you get more grace from God. You get greater substance. And then when you fast and pray, it can change things.
For us to sit back and reflect on the supreme sacrifice that our Lord Jesus Christ paid on the cross.
So at this time, Christians are expected to go back into their closets, check their lives, see how well they fed. You know, it's a time of meditation. It's a time that you try and check how well have I fed, where have I gone wrong, and a time to get it right with Christ.
The Lenten period lasts 40 days, with climax being the Easter. Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
And joining me to throw more light on the significance of Ash Wednesday is Reverend Father George Julius of St. Kelvin's Parish, Jukwe. Father, you're welcome to our studios.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's another Ash Wednesday. You know, what is expected of Christians during this period?
Well, for traditional Catholics and Christians, this period of Lent that begins with the Ash Wednesday reminds us of our mortality as beings, and that for the very fact that we are from dust, unto dust we shall return. And so the need for us to live a life where we consciously, you know, try to live according to our Christian doctrines, our Christian dictates, and see how we can be of great impact to our society.
Okay, now, why the choice of black clothes, you know, this year in the Catholic Church for the Ash Wednesday?
Thank you. I think no Nigerian is blind to the insecurity challenges we are facing in our nation today. And so, with the recent happenings in our nation, where places of worship are being targeted by terrorists, where Christians are being kidnapped and killed for their faith, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria now decided that this year we shall, of course, keep into that biblical demands where Christians or early Jews, I mean the Jews of ancient times, when something is wrong and God is calling them for repentance, they go on sackcloth, showing how repentant they are. And so for this year, the Catholic Bishops' Conference now asked all Catholics to wear black to show that we are mourning for the deaths of insecurity in our nation, and also to be in solidarity with all those who have been killed through acts of terrorism, kidnapping, and banditry.
Okay, now what should be the prayer points, an attitude towards building a stronger Nigeria during this fasting period? I think for every Christian, especially Catholics, our attitude today should be based on the 3 pillars of the Lenten season, which is prayers, fasting, and almsgiving. Through prayers, we pray for our nation, for peace to reign, and also we pray that our leaders will know the right thing and to make sure that the right things are being done to bring about the peace that we so much desired in our nation, Nigeria. Okay, thank you very much, Father George. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine too. Thank you. It's now time to join Ruth Ario Samuel in Lagos for more contributions on Nationwide. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Ifoma. Thank you and welcome to Lagos. The last may not have been heard of the proposed electricity increase by electricity distribution companies. Annie Daniels reports that at a public hearing in Lagos, the step remains condemned by consumers.
I got a property, so I asked the previous property owner, and he confirmed to me that for over 6 years, he did not have any tenant, and electricity was disconnected. They kept bringing me over ₦1 million.
But whenever you make any effort, they will tell you to go and pay that for us. They will explain, they will do something.
Some Lagosians speaking on poor power supply in Nigeria. While Nigerians were still agitating for improved electricity supply, distribution companies announced its proposed electricity tariff increase. This generated strong condemnation from electricity consumers across the country.
What is the rationale behind it?
Everybody is ready to pay when they are enjoying power.
What assurance can you give to Nigerians in case if they increase this tariff that they are going to give us a very good service that we desire?
Responding to these reactions, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission says there is no cause for alarm, insisting that due process must be followed.
If they were increasing the tariffs, for instance, but there was a cap on estimated billing, and people were receiving a more reasonable bill, even at an increased tariff, and people were getting more power, don't you think people would be happy? And so we must make it about what it really is.
The Commission came out with a cap. That cap instructs every distribution company to ensure that he cannot or they cannot bill consumers over and above that cap that we've set. If any distribution company is not happy with the cap, let them meter the customers.
In spite of reasons given by DISCOS for its proposed tariff increase, power consumers insist that first and foremost, prepaid meters be made available and adequate steps be taken to ensure that the idea behind its provision is not abused. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Nigerian singer and music producer Innocent Idibia, also known as Tubaba, is appealing to colleagues in the entertainment industry to be shining examples and use their music as a tool for national cohesion and development. He made the appeal while on a condolence visit to the family of the late iconic trumpeter Dr. Victor Olaiya in Lagos. Adeola Komi Akere reports.
Innocent Idibia, also known as Tubaba, was received by the widow of the deceased, Victoria, and his son, Abiodun Olaiya.
The messages from his music, a lot of them, because the idea of high life is to teach the people, to instruct them in particular ways. So those lessons would forever stay in the hearts of people. Everybody would see the need to say, look, we need to preserve the legacies that this man has left behind.
Tubaba, who did a collaboration with the late trumpeter in one of his songs, Baby Mida, described the late trumpeter as a legendary, gracious philanthropist and a gentleman.
And I think that's the legacy he has left. He did his thing, he was cool, and he respected himself and he respected people, and I think that is a very, 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 very serious and he took his game seriously. So I think that is a serious lesson to any artist.
Tubaba also speaks of what led to the remix of the song.
And my wife's favorite song is about me, so this is that song, you know. So they say, we don't talk to Ramo. I say, what you do? They say, I agree to do it. I said, I was so happy. You know, it's one of the biggest things that happened, you know, for an icon such as, you know, Doctor to agree to do a song with me.
Death, they say, diminishes the human race, but the legacies of the late Olaya will go a long way in ensuring national unity and development if imbibed. In Lagos, Adeola Komi-Akere, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this break. Don't go away.
Kefi Old Boys Association, Koba, cordially invites the general public to the 70th anniversary ceremony of the establishment of the Government College Kefi. Date
You're welcome back. The global tuberculosis champion and ambassador, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has restated her commitment to the total eradication of tuberculosis in Nigeria and the world at large. The First Lady said this in a message during an interactive meeting with the network of Stop Tuberculosis Partnership and other stakeholders in the fight against tuberculosis and non-communicable diseases in Nigeria. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
The meeting with all stakeholders in attendance was headed by the wife of the Vice President Olapo Shinbajo, who is standing in for the First Lady. It was aimed at improving the strategy towards scaling up actions in an effort to end TB in Nigeria and the world at large, in line with the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals target.
I look forward to your recommendations, and I promise to advocate for the implementation of any action that is agreed upon. I also want to solicit for more of your support.
With Nigeria having the large share of the global burden, the First Lady examined some of the success story in managing the disease in the country, especially with the wives of the governors of Nigeria as TB champions in their states, urging that still more needs to be done in ending tuberculosis.
This is a collective task for all stakeholders in this ecosystem. We must work collectively together to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in that respect.
As well to say that as a global TB ambassador, she's doing everything possible as far as contributing to the end of tuberculosis in Nigeria.
The representatives of the development partners from the WHO, United Nations Development Fund, UNFPA, Stop TB Partnership, UNICEF and the World Bank, among others, reaffirmed commitment in joining forces to end TB and other communicable diseases in the world.
No one of these ambitious goals of the Sustainable Development Agenda will be reached if our population will not be healthy, will not have access to the modern health care services.
Stakeholders also believed that with all hands on deck, the epidemic of TB will be completely cured and eradicated. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Kano State's Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has ordered the arrest of any Almajiri found roaming the streets of Kano to ensure success of the free and compulsory education program in the state. The governor gave the order during the presentation of appointment letters to 7,500 voluntary teachers under the Better Education Service Delivery for All. Fatima Sanusi Karaye reports that instructional materials were also distributed to all integrated Quranic learning centers in the states.
To hear this chilling voice every morning from a 9-year-old boy begging for food is heartbreaking. The huge statistics of out-of-school children in Kano remain worrisome, where children as young as 7 are living on streets, fending for themselves due to parental neglect. To fight this menace, the Kano State government initiated a series of intervention programs, among which is the free and compulsory basic and secondary school education, and by law covers all the street children. It has also launched Better Education Service Delivery for All BESDA, a World Bank assisted project to tackle the overwhelming statistics of out-of-school children and also ensure those already in school are able to read and manipulate figures.
Secondly, we have constituted what we call Education Trust Fund. Education Trust Fund, 5% of the internally generated revenue of Kano State will be put into the basket of free education.
You know, we have sensitization and advocacy, we have done a lot, whereby even the Almajiri and their Malams, they are coming to Subeb in order to resist their Dangaya. So I don't think we have any challenges.
This declaration will give these vulnerable children a sense of belonging and a path to follow. It is expected that the 7,500 voluntary teachers will not only teach, but also guide them to live a productive life. With such initiative, holding balls while roaming streets and begging for alms may be a thing of the past, as they will have equitable access to literacy and become the best version of themselves. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, NTA News.
And joining us live from Kano for more on the ban on Almajiri is Fatima Sanusi Karaye. Now, Fatima, what is the situation in Kano now?
Is one state that has a huge number of out-of-school children, and stakeholders have been advocating so that these children will have better life. And to discuss this issue, I have with me Alhaji Hassan Usman. Alhaji Hassan, to discuss more on the issue. Sir, what is your take on the ban of street begging of children?
Thank you very much. This ban that just came into effect yesterday is the best thing that has ever happened to Kano State. And the governor of Kano State has taken a bold step. We needed this. We have advocated it for 6-7 years. These children need to be taken care of. It is a shame on us to see small children walking the street every morning looking for their daily bread, morning, afternoon and evening, simply in the search of the Quranic knowledge. And a lot of us who came to know about the Quran didn't go through this system. So I can assure you this is not the best way to learn the Quran, and the governor has taken a bold step. And he had to do that because the Kaduna State government had already done that. If he does not do that, all the Almajiris and the Al-Ramas in Kaduna will come into Kano.
And how do you think it can be enforced effectively?
Well, like we said, he must stand firm. He must make sure that there is no U-turn on this law. Secondly, because of this decree or the law that is put in, these children will automatically go back to where they come from. And when they do, you need to give them where to sit and study. Especially that you want them now to have the two knowledge, the Quranic and the modern system of education. You need to go and build classes very close to where they are, so that the classes can serve two purposes. They will learn the modern system of learning in the morning, and in the afternoon they go to the Quranic schools, and the teachers must be paid. Quranic teachers are the only teachers in this country that work with no payment.
And
none of them.
Okay, and the community, how do you think they should the role they should play?
The community are the only people that have been complaining all along that this system is wrong and something has to be done. In Kano State alone and Everance, we have more than 1.93 million out-of-school children, and majority of them are Almajiri. So the public feels so shy and disturbed when they drive in flashy cars, spending so much money in restaurants, and see these nice, innocent kids walking in tattered clothes, unshaven head, dirty feet. They just need to be accommodated and be put into proper stage of life.
Yeah. With this development, it is hoped that street begging among children, it will be vanished. And that is all we have from this end. Back to you, Ifoma.
Thank you very much, Fatima. In an effort to occupy the entrepreneurial space with innovative and creative science, the Nigerian Television Authority is supporting the development of indigenous technology. Correspondent Linda Okorie-Igwe reports that to achieve this and develop vocational skills that will compete favorably with global trend in the science, NTA is partnering the Committee on Technology and Innovation Expo 2020 on a visit to the Director General and Management of the NTA. The leadership of the committee described the Nigerian Television Authority as a critical partner in actualizing this year's theme, tagged Enhancing the Growth of Nigeria's Economy Through Science and Technology.
Without mentioning what you two have done, we are quite satisfied, and we hope if you bring this expertise to bear in our program coming up in March, indeed, that would have been our success points.
The Executive Director of Marketing, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembas, appreciated the visit and assured the committee of NTA's continuous support to the growth of local content and develop manpower.
Authority that we will be doing our possible best to make sure that we bring this expo to the homes and offices of our teaming viewers across the country and of course abroad. We've been doing that for quite a long time. You've been patronizing us.
He urged them to prioritize tackling youth unemployment in their programs. And Mohammed Ibrahim is standing by in Maiduguri for more contributions on Nationwide. Over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Ifoma, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara has expressed commitment of his administration to ensuring polio virus is kicked out of the state. The governor stated this during the 2019 end-of-year immunization and primary health care review meeting between Borno State Government, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as Dangote Foundation. Rebecca Bature reports.
Okay, we're sorry, we seem to be having a problem with Maiduguri there. You're still watching Nationwide. Let's take another break. More reports in a moment. Do stay.
Illegal oil refineries are devastating. Crude oil theft is criminal. Oil spill due to vandalism is dehumanizing. Piracy is inimical to the economy and international trade. From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the Atlantic Ocean, inland waterways and beyond, the activities of criminally minded Nigerians and their foreign collaborators have hampered Nigerian economic growth, constituted health hazards and environmental degradation. The Nigerian Navy is poised to put a stop to these activities. Remember, the harmonized standard operating procedure in the maritime sector for optimal benefits of the nation's economy is fully operational. The Nigerian Navy will leave no stone unturned to ensure defaulters face the full wrath of the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Be one. Support the Nigerian Navy. Onward together. New digital technologies have thrown up new opportunities for online news gathering, reporting and management. NTA TV College invites online reporters, journalists, public relations practitioners, multimedia producers and freelance reporters to a special 2-week intensive course on intermediate online news reporting skills. Take advantage of the course to upscale your skills in computer-assisted reporting, social media content production strategies, online media platforms for information dissemination and management. Date 2nd to 13th March 2020. Course fee 80,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. Also running is a special 4-week intensive course on modern trends in broadcast media marketing. It is an essential course for the sales force in the broadcast media, in the public and private sector to sharpen their skills and improve their capacities to deal with contemporary marketing challenges and competitors. Date 16th March to 9th April 2020. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
With a defeat at Burnley, leaving them just 2 points above relegation, will Bournemouth revive their hopes of an EPL stay, or will the downward spiral continue? Find out this weekend as Bournemouth hosts Chelsea at the Vitality Stadium and the Premier League Live, showing on NTA Network. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Coca-Cola and Axis Bank.
Thanks for staying with us. It's time to head over to Ibadan for more on Nationwide. And Ibadan seems not to be ready there. Now, the dust is yet to settle over a proposed minor review of electricity tariff by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission with effect from April this year. Joshua Ojito reports that key players have been engaging in conversation over the new tariff regime.
The clock is ticking, and April 1st, 2020 is just few weeks from now when the new electricity tariff regime is expected to take effect.
The bill is outrageous.
Electricity customers say it is tariff increase, but the regulatory body says it is a minor review in line with the multi-year tariff order. So, this conversation among key players in the electricity value chain is crucial to aggregate views and opinions before the review takes effect. Chidi Ugu joins other stakeholders in the conversation and says there should be an improvement in power supply before any review.
There is need to also engage the customers in an enlightenment campaign so that they will be carried along. What informs this review?
Because of these differences in tariff, which were not resolved through minor reviews, it's important going forward in order to have a sustained electricity industry to ensure that the revenues are sufficient.
That tariff increase, I repeat, must be tied to efficient performance.
Views shared by key players in the electricity value chain is expected to determine what the likes of Chidi and many other customers will pay under the new tariff regime. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Facilities at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, main venue for events in the 20th edition of the National Sports Festival, are ready for use. Ogochukwuka Ona in Benin fills us in on the level of preparedness 3 weeks to the festival.
The tracks have been laid. The football pitch, swimming pool, tennis court are currently undergoing cleaning.
What we are left with is the gym, and you can see the construction work going on at a very fast pace. This is the only major construction work left now, and by 13th of March, we should be done with this.
Same thing is going on at the 16 other centers, including 5 mini stadia and Unibank Sports Complex and the hostels for accommodation. The Secretariat Complex, which is to serve as coordinating venue, is already in place.
Gates Village will open on the 20th, and just as the students went on vacation, the team of engineers engaged by government to clean up the place have commenced work. By early next week, it should all be painted up, dusted, and ready to accommodate people.
About 11,000 athletes are expected to participate in 39 sporting events, competing for 3,000 medals. Edo State won the rights to host this year's edition after hosting in 2002 and in 1981, then as Bendel State. In Benin, Ogochukwuka Ona, NTA News.
Ahead of the National Sports Festival Edo 2020, the Nigeria Television Authority is training its sports reporters and producers towards effective coverage of the games scheduled to begin on the 20th of next month. Alisa Batu Andrew visited the NTA Television College just to feel the pulse of participants and the facilitators on what is expected of the training.
Nigerian Television Authority has always been at the forefront of bringing sports to the living room of Nigerians, and the Edo 2020 games will be no different, as it is repositioning its reporters for the coverage.
And so,
These reporters are drawn from different stations in the country to train them in sporting reporting and sports commentaries.
We expect and we are sure, given the content of the curriculum, that at the end of this training, we are sending out reporters, sports commentators, that we be able to compete not just at the national level, but anywhere in the world.
The participants are being trained on ethics, routine and responsibilities in sports reportage, as well as the challenges that sports reporters encounter in the course of carrying out the task and how to summon these to achieve an explicit coverage.
By the end of this training, become better reporter. I believe that it's not only sports reportage that brings you out. That becomes an area of specialization. But above all, for the NTA reporter, you have to be up and doing, and that is the target. They will become better reporters and certainly better sports reporters.
Has the training been impactful? Some of the participants have this to say.
Resource persons of different pedigrees have showcased their talents to us, and we've been able to understand the nitty-gritty of sports reporting.
Sharpening our skills as reporters and seeing to it that as the sports industry evolves, that we also evolve with it and keep ourselves up to date.
This will go a long way in promoting sports reportage in Borno State, in the Northeast, and in Nigeria as a whole. Will be a major contributor.
It is expected that the training will have a positive impact on the quality of reportage NTA will churn out during the forthcoming National Sports Festival to be hosted in Benin, Edo State capital. In Jos, Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
Let's now rejoin our Badugri studios for more Nationwide.
Thank you, Fama, for joining us in Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara has expressed commitment of his administration to ensuring polio virus is kicked out of the state. The governor stated this during the 2019 end-of-year immunization and primary health care program review meeting between Borno State Government, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as Dangote Foundation. Rebecca Bature now reports.
Governor Babagana Umara Zulum noted that peculiar security situation in the state worsens humanitarian services, which calls for greater collaboration, saying that government will do everything possible to ensure everyone is reached, including the trapped population.
Our goal is to achieve one functional primary health care in every geopolitical ward across Borno State.
Minister of Health Dr. Osage Enahire appreciated efforts of Borno State government in health care service delivery despite the security challenges and expressed the need to fast-track the tools in attending to primary health care with constant water supply and provision of power, among others. Representatives of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Chris Elias, Rotten Immunization Partners, Chairman Aliko Dangote Foundation, Aliko Dangote, and Executive Director, National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shaib, observed the issue of dropout rate and called for broader concentration on reducing maternal mortality in the state. Representative of Shehu of Borno, District Head of Dambua, Zanna Lawan Maina, assured support of the Emirate for routine immunization and primary health care programs, among others. Commissioner of Health Dr. Saliu Aliu Kayabura and Executive Director of Borno State Primary Health Care Development Agency presented a report and responded to comments in Maiduguri. In
other news, Borno State Police Command has paraded criminal suspects arrested at various locations across the state. Kegama Mustafa Shehu reports.
The crime for which the suspects were arrested includes robbery, theft, and defiling of minors, putting them in a family way.
Ali Jubril, M of Tudunwada, behind Borno Express, forcefully raped a 14-year-old house girl. As a result, the victim sustained vaginal injuries and was bleeding profusely. The suspect will soon be charged to court. 7 suspects were arrested on different occasions and at different locations for armed robbery in dwelling houses and in tricycles, popularly called keke napep.
Other crime suspects paraded were on impersonation as DSS personnel and afforded victims large sum of money, the police public relations officer DSP added or consent, the command will not relent in squaring Borno and ridding it of criminals. All the suspects will be arraigned before court for prosecution. In Maiduguri, Kegama Mustafa Sheikh, NTA.
That's our contribution from Maiduguri. Nationwide returns to Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. The Senate has held a valedictory session in honor of late Senator Ignatius Longjan, who died on the 10th of February 2020. Late Senator Ignatius Longjan, who represented Plateau South Senatorial District of Plateau State, was described as a gentleman, a diplomat of repute, and detribalized Nigerian. Until his death, the former Deputy Governor of Plateau State was the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs. Let's now take a look at